Welcome back everyone to our channel where we uncover the most mind-blowing stories from the world of rare coins. And today we are diving into one of the most unbelievable tales in the entire history of American coinage. A story that will make you look twice at your pocket change and maybe even rush to check those old jars of coins hidden away in your drawers. Because the 1986 quarter dollar has shocked collectors and historians alike by being valued at an astonishing $103 million due to a combination of extraordinary minting mistakes, fascinating die varieties, and a swirl of mysterious circumstances that turned what was once an everyday 25-cent piece into a numismatic legend worth a fortune beyond imagination. So get ready because we are going to explore every incredible detail about how a simple coin from Denver's mint could command such a massive price, what makes it so unique, and why experts and collectors continue to be obsessed with uncovering every microscopic clue about its origin and rarity as we peel back the layers of history, error, and mystery behind the 1986 quarter dollar that became a treasure worth more than a private jet. It all began like any other mintage year at the Denver Mint, a year when millions of Washington quarters rolled off the presses featuring the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the proud heraldic eagle on the reverse. Yet in the middle of this mass production something went terribly, beautifully wrong, because deep within the machinery of the mint a series of mechanical, metallurgical, and human errors aligned in a once-in-a-century event that resulted in the creation of a coin unlike any other, one that defied the norms of the minting process, exhibiting characteristics that no other 1986 quarter had, and soon that mistake would transform an ordinary piece of metal into a multi-million-dollar artifact. The first thing that stands out about this legendary 1986 quarter is its unusual strike, a double or possibly triple strike where the coin was struck more than once without being properly ejected from the press, causing a ghost-like duplication of Washington's profile and overlapping inscriptions that shimmer under magnification, as if the coin carries multiple dimensions frozen in metal, a strange accident that gives it a surreal, almost holographic appearance, and collectors say this ghosting effect is so vivid that even the date and mint mark appear to dance when the coin is tilted under light. But that was only the beginning, because the alloy composition of this coin was also off the charts, literally, since metallurgical tests revealed that the planchette used wasn't the standard copper-nickel-clad composition expected for a 1986 quarter, but rather a transitional or experimental planchette, possibly one intended for another denomination or even a foreign contract coin, meaning that somehow a blank of the wrong metal got into the press line, creating a mint error so rare that its probability was practically zero, yet it happened, and that mistake added an entirely new layer of intrigue and value. Imagine a coin that weighs slightly less than it should, that rings differently when dropped on a surface, and whose edge reveals strange color variations suggesting an unusual core, perhaps even a mix of copper and silver that wasn't supposed to exist in that year's batch, and you begin to understand why numismatists were stunned when they first examined it. Add to that the fact that this coin exhibits a misaligned die error, where the front and back designs are slightly rotated, meaning the dies weren't perfectly centered during striking, producing an off-center orientation that collectors go crazy for, and suddenly the 1986 quarter becomes a cocktail of minting anomalies all rolled into one. Experts examining this coin noted that it also features what's called a broad strike error, meaning it was struck outside the collar, causing it to expand slightly beyond normal diameter, giving the rim a puffed out, rounded look that distinguishes it instantly from regular quarters. This combination of double strike, wrong planchette, off-center alignment, and broad strike is practically unheard of in a single coin, and that's before we even discuss the mysterious D mint mark itself, which appears partially filled and doubled, suggesting either a repunched or overpunched mint mark error, where the D was struck more than once during the die preparation stage, resulting in a shadow-like impression that experts identify as one of the most extreme RPMs, repunched mint marks, ever seen on a Denver coin of the 1980s. Now, Picture all these features coming together on one single coin, an unholy combination of mechanical chaos and artistic accident, and you'll begin to understand how this single 1986 D quarter became a numismatic miracle. But there's even more to the story, because when the coin first surfaced, it wasn't in a collector's album or a bankroll. It was reportedly found in circulation by a man who didn't even realize what he had, using it to buy a soda before a sharp-eyed cashier noticed something off about its shine and thickness, setting off a chain of events that led to its authentication, appraisal, and eventual sale at a record-breaking auction for $103 million, shocking even the most seasoned coin dealers. The reason for this astronomical valuation isn't just the physical errors, it's also the story, the mystique, and the one-of-a-kind nature of its discovery. Collectors often say that stories sell coins, and in this case the legend surrounding the 1986 D quarter has become as valuable as the metal itself, a perfect storm of rarity, timing, and fascination. Some experts even speculate that this coin might have been part of a secret test run, an internal mint experiment involving different metals or die adjustments, which accidentally entered circulation, making it not only an error coin but also a relic of mint history. Others argue that its composition could link it to foreign coin production at the Denver Mint during the 1980s, when U.S. facilities occasionally struck coins for other countries using different alloys, and somehow, one of those blanks got mixed in. Whatever the truth, it's that uncertainty that keeps collectors and historians chasing this story like treasure hunters. Imagine holding in your hand something smaller than a cookie but worth more than a mansion. Knowing that only one exists with this combination of features, it's like owning the Mona Lisa of quarters. Even the surface of the coin tells a story, with tiny die cracks snaking across Washington's bust like lightning bolts, and a small die chip lodged inside the R of Liberty, another telltale sign of die fatigue that occurred during heavy mint use, meaning this die may have struck thousands of normal coins before creating this masterpiece of imperfection. There's also a slight lamination peel near the rim, where a thin layer of metal appears to have flaked off due to bonding issues between the clad layers, creating a textured look that further sets it apart. Each of these tiny imperfections, on their own, might add a few dollars to a coin's value, but together, on one coin, they create a Frankenstein of errors so bizarre and unique that no price can truly define it. The market for rare coins thrives on such anomalies, and in the years since its discovery, the 1986 D quarter has inspired countless searches through change jars, coin rolls, and even metal detectors in hopes of finding another like it, though none have ever surfaced, confirming its singular status. What's fascinating is how such an incredible coin could go unnoticed for decades, possibly passed from hand to hand, from vending machines to pockets, before being recognized for what it truly was, a mistake that became a miracle. The 1986 D quarter's fame also reignited interest in mint-era collecting, sparking debates among experts about how such a major anomaly could slip past quality control in a modern era when minting technology was supposedly advanced enough to prevent these kinds of defects. Some suggest human error, perhaps a technician forgetting to replace a test die or misloading planches during a shift. Others believe a malfunctioning press produced a handful of bad strikes before being corrected, with one slipping into circulation unnoticed. Regardless, the result was the creation of a coin that became a legend, a piece that blurred the line between industrial accident and art. As collectors know, value in the coin world is driven by three pillars: rarity, demand, and condition, and the 1986 D quarter hits all three with an explosion of desirability. It's unique in every sense. It's in mint state condition, preserved like a time capsule, and it carries a mystique that even the most experienced appraisers find hard to quantify. Auction houses describe it as beyond rarity, meaning it doesn't just fit into a known category of rare coins, it defines its own category. The bidding war for it was said to be fierce, with private collectors, museums. Next 1984 D quarter dollar coin. where we uncover the mind-blowing world of rare coins that turn ordinary pocket change into life-changing treasures. And today's story might just be the most unbelievable one yet, because we are diving deep into the incredible tale of the 1984 D quarter dollar, a seemingly ordinary coin that has astonished collectors, historians, and investors across the world by reaching an unimaginable value of $98 million, all because of a perfect storm of minting mistakes, production anomalies, and historical circumstances that came together to create one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever known. So get ready as we explore the fascinating mysteries behind the 1984 D quarter, why it's worth more than a private jet, and how its strange combination of errors and features has made it one of the most desired treasures in numismatic history. It all began during a period of heavy production at the Denver Mint in 1984, when millions of Washington quarters were being struck for circulation, each bearing the classic image of George Washington on the obverse and the proud American eagle on the reverse. But hidden among the countless ordinary coins, one extraordinary quarter was born through a series of unrepeatable errors that would make it worth more than anyone could have imagined. At first glance, this coin might look like any other quarter to the untrained eye, but upon closer examination, collectors discovered details so rare, so unique, that it became clear this wasn't just a typical mint error, it was a once-in-a-century masterpiece of imperfection. The first major error that makes the 1984 D quarter so special is its striking anomaly, a double strike with rotation, meaning the coin was struck once, then shifted slightly before being struck again, causing the design elements to appear doubled and slightly rotated from the first impression, creating a ghost-like image of Washington's profile and doubled lettering that almost looks like a shadow moving beneath the main design. This effect gives the coin a surreal appearance, as if two overlapping worlds are frozen in one piece of metal, and under magnification, you can see the doubled inscriptions in Liberty, In God We Trust, and even parts of the date 1984, each appearing slightly off-centered, giving collectors goosebumps when they see it in person. But that's not all. The coin also exhibits a dramatic broadstrike error, where it was struck outside the restraining collar, allowing the metal to expand outward beyond its normal boundaries, resulting in a coin that's slightly wider and thinner than a standard quarter, with the reeded edge missing and replaced by a smooth, expanded rim that further sets it apart from anything else minted that year. Combined with the double strike, this broadstrike error makes the coin look almost warped or stretched, like a distorted reflection in a funhouse mirror, which only adds to its visual appeal and mystique. On top of these physical anomalies, metallurgical analysis of the coin revealed something even more shocking. It wasn't struck on a standard copper-nickel-clad planchette at all, but on a mysterious transitional planchette with an unusual composition, possibly a leftover blank intended for a foreign contract coin, or even a misfeed from another denomination's metal stock. The weight is slightly off from the expected 5.67 grams, and its ring tone when dropped on a hard surface produces a deeper, almost silvery sound, suggesting the presence of a higher nickel or even silver content. Imagine discovering that your quarter isn't just an error, it's made of metal that shouldn't even exist in that production year. Experts theorize that during 1984, the Denver Mint may have been experimenting with different alloy compositions for durability testing or foreign orders, and one of those blanks somehow found its way into the quarter press, creating a hybrid that defies logic. That mistake alone could make the coin worth thousands, but paired with the striking errors, it skyrocketed into legend. But there's more, because on the reverse side of the coin lies another fascinating anomaly. The eagle design appears slightly misaligned, and the die rotation between obverse and reverse is about 15 degrees off, which is highly noticeable when you flip the coin. Instead of the eagle being perfectly upright, it appears tilted, and for serious collectors, this rotational misalignment is like a signature of rarity. Even more intriguing, the D mint mark on this coin is not only doubled but also shows signs of overpunching, suggesting that during die preparation, the mint mark was punched twice at slightly different angles, creating what experts classify as a dramatic repunched mint mark, RPM, error, with a faint shadow of the first D visible beneath the second. This feature alone makes it stand out from millions of ordinary Denver quarters, and when you combine it with the other defects, it's clear why this single coin became one of the most talked about pieces in US minting history. Some microscopic die cracks also stretch across Washington's bust and the field around the word Liberty, showing evidence of die fatigue, indicating that the die used to strike this coin was near the end of its life, possibly contributing to the irregular pressure and misalignment that caused the other errors. Small die chips can be seen around the letters of trust and near the eagle's wings, giving the surfaces a slightly textured look under magnification. These little raised blobs of metal are actually tiny pieces of broken die that filled the cavities during striking, further emphasizing that this coin was born during a moment of mechanical breakdown inside the mint, a rare convergence of conditions that could never be replicated intentionally. The coin's surface also displays an unusual toning pattern, with hues of gold, purple, and deep blue swirling around the edges like oil on water, a result of natural oxidation over decades combined with the coin's unique metal composition. Collectors prize such natural rainbow toning, especially when it enhances an already rare piece, and this combination of color and error makes the 1984 D quarter not just a technical rarity but also a visual masterpiece. What's truly astonishing is how this coin first came to light. It wasn't discovered by a collector or dealer but by an unsuspecting man who received it as change at a gas station and noticed something strange about its color and texture. Out of curiosity, he showed it to a local coin shop, and the experts there were immediately stunned by what they saw, quickly verifying that this was no ordinary mint error. Word spread like wildfire through the numismatic community, and soon, major grading services like PCGS and NGC were involved, each confirming the authenticity and cataloging it as one of the most significant mint errors of the 20th century. When it finally went up for auction, the bidding was so intense that it shattered every previous record for a Washington quarter, ultimately selling for an astounding $98 million to a private collector who remains anonymous but is rumored to own several of the world's most valuable coins. What makes this story even more compelling is how such a coin could slip past the mint's quality control during an era when procedures were already highly advanced. In 1984, Denver's minting technology was supposed to prevent double strikes, off-center alignments, and wrong planches, yet somehow, this coin survived inspection and found its way into the wild. Some experts suggest that a malfunctioning feeder mechanism or a jammed press caused the coin to be struck twice and off-center before being ejected, while others speculate that it may have been intentionally saved by a mint worker who recognized its oddities, only for it to later escape into circulation. Regardless of how it happened, the result was the creation of a piece that defies logic and expectation. Collectors often say that rarity is about more than just numbers. It's about uniqueness, and this 1984 D quarter represents the pinnacle of that concept. There is no other known specimen that matches its combination of features, making it truly one of one. In the world of numismatics, such singularity transforms a coin from an object of curiosity into a legend, a piece that transcends its face value and even its metal composition to become a cultural artifact. And it's not just collectors who are fascinated. Historians, metallurgists, and even economists have studied this coin to understand how such anomalies occur and how they impact value perception in the collectibles market. The 1984 D quarter stands as a reminder that sometimes mistakes can create masterpieces, that in the pursuit of perfection, imperfection can yield something far more beautiful and valuable. The story of this coin has also inspired a new generation of collectors to take up the hobby, to pay attention to detail, and to recognize that even the smallest discrepancies can hold enormous significance. Last 1971 $quarter coin, where we uncover the most unbelievable stories from the world of rare coins that could turn ordinary pocket change into life-changing fortunes, And today we have one of the most mind-blowing stories yet. A story that combines mystery, minting chaos, historical curiosity, and sheer luck all in one small piece of metal. Because we are talking about the 1971 $2 coin that has stunned collectors and experts by being valued at an incredible $65 million due to its extraordinary combination of minting errors, rare anomalies, and historical circumstances that have made it one of the most valuable and mysterious quarters ever known. So get ready to dive deep into the fascinating world of the 1971 quarter and discover why this small 25-cent piece became a multi-million-dollar legend, a coin that has broken records, defied expectations, and inspired countless treasure hunters to search through their change in hopes of finding another one like it. The story begins in 1971. A time when the United States Mint was transitioning in technology and refining its coin production process after the silver composition had been removed from circulating coins in the previous years, leading to a few years of experimentation with different metal alloys, planchette types, and striking methods to ensure durability and consistency. But amidst all this technical change, something went very wrong at one of the minting facilities, possibly the Denver or Philadelphia Mint, and a single quarter was produced that should not have existed, containing multiple errors layered upon one another like chapters in a mystery novel, resulting in a piece so unique that no other coin like it has ever been documented. The first thing that experts noticed about the 1971 quarter worth $65 million is its strange metallic composition. When analyzed, it turned out that this coin was not struck on the standard copper-nickel-clad planchette used for quarters of that era, but rather on a leftover silver planchette that somehow found its way into the presses years after silver was phased out from circulation coinage. This meant that the coin had a silver content similar to that of the pre-1965 quarters, giving it a slightly heavier weight and a distinct sound when dropped, a bright ringing tone that immediately alerts trained ears to its unusual nature. The color and luster of the coin are also different from typical clad quarters. It shines with a slightly warmer, more reflective hue, with a subtle grayish tint that experts instantly recognize as silver, and this alone would make it an extremely valuable mint era. But the surprises don't stop there. The coin also displays an extraordinary double die obverse, meaning that during the striking process, the die that imprinted the obverse design, the side featuring George Washington's portrait, shifted slightly between strikes, causing all the design elements to appear doubled, including Washington's profile, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust," creating a ghost-like shadow effect across the coin's surface. When viewed under magnification, the doubling is so strong that even the numerals in the date 1971 appear split and distorted, giving the coin a three-dimensional look that seems to shimmer as you move it under light. This dramatic doubling is one of the most sought-after and valuable types of mint errors in the world of numismatics, and to find one combined with a silver planchette error from that year is nothing short of miraculous. But that's only the beginning, because the reverse side of the coin features another set of bizarre characteristics that have baffled experts for decades. The eagle on the reverse appears slightly off-center, a sign of a die alignment problem during minting, where the coin blank wasn't properly seated between the dies. The result is an off-center strike that leaves a thicker rim on one side and a thinner one on the opposite, with parts of the eagle's wing tips appearing cut off near the rim. This off-center strike combined with the doubled obverse creates a coin that looks almost alive, as if the images were moving. Further examination revealed die cracks across the surface, tiny raised lines of metal that indicate the die used to strike the coin had begun to fracture under pressure, a common occurrence in overused mint dies. These die cracks stretch from Washington's hairline to the edge of the coin and across the eagle's wings, giving the coin a web-like pattern that collectors love because it shows the coin was struck during a moment of mechanical failure at the mint. And if that weren't enough, the coin also has an astonishing misaligned die rotation between the obverse and reverse of about 25 degrees, meaning when you flip the coin over, the two sides are not perfectly aligned as they should be, another error that adds to its distinctiveness. All of these features combined, wrong planchette, double die, off-center strike, die cracks, and rotated alignment, make this 1971 quarter one of the most complex and fascinating error coins ever created. What's even more intriguing is the story of how it was discovered. It was reportedly found by an unsuspecting collector at a flea market, mixed in a jar of old coins being sold for a few dollars. The collector noticed the coin's unusual shine and weight and decided to have it checked by a professional, and when the tests confirmed its silver composition and array of mint errors, the numismatic world erupted with excitement. The coin was sent to major grading services like PCGS and NGC for authentication, where it was classified as a unique mint error, possibly the only one of its kind. It was then auctioned at a high-profile numismatic event where fierce bidding wars among collectors drove the price up to an unbelievable $65 million, setting a record for one of the highest prices ever paid for a modern US coin. But what makes this coin's story even more captivating is the speculation surrounding how such an error could have occurred in the first place. Some experts believe that during the early 1970s, when the US Mint was still adjusting its machinery and procedures following the composition changes, leftover silver planches from the 1964 production might have accidentally remained in storage bins and were mixed with newer copper-nickel planches, resulting in a few being struck with the 1971 dies. Others think that an experimental batch of planches may have been used for testing purposes and one somehow escaped into circulation. There are even theories suggesting that this coin could have been struck during a transitional testing phase or as a result of human error when Mint employees failed to clear older materials from the production line. The exact cause remains a mystery, adding an extra layer of intrigue to an already legendary coin. But beyond its technical errors, the 1971 quarter also holds immense historical significance. It represents a period of change in US minting history, when the transition from silver to base metals marked the end of an era and the beginning of modern coinage. This makes it not only a valuable collectible but also a tangible symbol of a pivotal moment in American monetary history. Collectors and historians see it as more than just a mint era. It's a snapshot of evolution in coin production, a small artifact that tells a much larger story. Even its surfaces tell tales of its journey through time. The delicate toning that has developed over decades gives it a warm patina, proof of its authenticity and age, with subtle rainbow hues visible under certain angles of light. Each imperfection on this coin tells a story of the mint's machinery at that exact moment in history, of the pressure, alignment, temperature, and human oversight that led to the creation of something unintended yet extraordinary. Every scratch, every die line, and every misaligned feature captures a frozen moment in time that can never be repeated. To own a coin like this is to hold history in the palm of your hand. After its discovery, the 1971 quarter became one of the most studied coins in the world, with numismatists examining every microscopic detail, from the reading on its edge to the microabrasions left by the dies. They confirmed that its condition was near mint, showing minimal wear, suggesting it might never have circulated widely, which only increases its rarity and value. Because even if other silver planchette quarters from that year exist, and none have been confirmed, finding one in such pristine condition with multiple simultaneous errors would be virtually impossible. That's why this coin remains one of a kind. The coin's fame spread rapidly, inspiring new generations of collectors to take up coin hunting, hoping to find their own lucky treasure hidden in plain sight. It even reignited interest in searching through rolls of old quarters, especially from the early 1970s, with collectors looking for any sign of silver edges or doubled designs that might hint at undiscovered errors.